one post has ignited this fresh controversy. This comes from Epic Universe Update. This gentleman here, who I assume is a gentleman, says, I was able to get in the 6 p.m. Harry Potter Ministry drop today from home in my pajamas without a valid ticket for the day. I made magic for a friend who was in the park and took it away from all the other people that were in the park. But it doesn't end there, Vash. It does not end at Harry Potter. Apparently, the virtual queue nightmare for Universal guests might actually extend further because Universal may use the deeply unpopular and controversial virtual queue for Epic Universe lands, sparking major concern. Now, Vash, this would be a unmitigated disaster if they did this. So now what we're saying here, just when guests thought the virtual queue system at Universal Orlando could not get more frustrating, on a quiet update to the resort's website, a quiet update on the resort's website has ignited a fresh wave of anxiety, because I can read today, apparently. This time about, my own words, this time about access to the entire lands within Epic Universe. According to the latest language on Universal Orlando's official virtual line website, they call it virtual line at Universal, not virtual queue, but, people call it a virtual queue. The resort now lists world entry at Universal Epic Universe as one of the experience that may require a virtual line return time. Now, this alarming phrasing has fans and guests wondering if the flawed queue system currently tied to Harry Potter and the Battle of the Ministry may soon be expanded to control access to the themed lands themselves. This would not be good. Could you imagine, Bash, going to Epic Universe and not getting into Dark Kingdom because you didn't catch the 7 a.m. Virtual queue?
Yeah, this is not good. we're really not looking to see this implemented at this park, but I can understand why it might be implemented at this. Remember, every single one of these portals have been designed in such a way that you have limited ingress and egress traffic, and that way they can better manage crowd flow and so forth. It's primarily for the immersive experiences that you actually have within them. But let's say the majority of people want to go to Nintendo. Well, that land, I know my experience in Hollywood, this land is a little bit bigger in Epic Universe, but still, that land has a set capacity. And how do you prevent people from overwhelming that land and really reducing the experience when people are in it? You do stuff like this, and nobody wants to see this. It's not an ideal situation at all, but I can kind of understand why that they would kind of be putting it out there that, yeah, this is a system that can be online at any time.
Now, see, I know I was probably, and I think a lot of people were kind of hoping that the virtual queue for even Harry Potter would go away by the time that this opened. Like maybe they would work out their issues and, there would be no virtual queue once we open on the 22nd. Maybe this was just a thing for previews, but now they're trying to say that they might actually police the entry into the different lands. I cannot imagine that would be a thing that anyone would accept. This would be a huge, huge blow to what is otherwise a flawless park experience for Epic Universe.
Yes, this would be a huge, huge blow to the experience and people experiences with it. There's also talk of maybe limiting people and how long they actually stay in these lands if a virtual queue or virtual line were to be implemented in such a way that people can actually cycle through this. Look, I remember the issues that Disney was looking to mitigate with the opening of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge back in 2019. Remember, during the preview period, they actually had preview tickets in which you were limited to 4 hours in that land before that land actually opened. And Disneyland actually went through the process of actually establishing these kind of virtual queue boards all over the park in various locations that would alert people to if a virtual queue was actually being used and like what boarding groups that they were actually calling at the time. So it would augment what you could actually see on your phone through these screens all over the park. Now, fortunately, they didn't have to actually implement that system. If they did, it wasn't for very long, that being Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. But Universal Studios Hollywood did implement that system when Super Nintendo World actually opened at that Hollywood theme park right there. And that's a system that they use on occasion even to this day, and we're now several years removed from that being open. So when I think about Epic Universe and implementing a system like this, I mean, it does make sense if a portal is far more popular than another.
I just don't like the idea that you could pay full admission to go into a theme park and then not experience an entire section of that theme park because maybe your internet was too slow, or your phone glitched, or you didn't have fast enough thumbs. It basically, when they do this, it pits the entirety of the park going audience against each other, and that is not a thing that anyone should aspire to. I don't like it at all. And if they did this, I would be really, really upset that I mean, look, if there is going to be just this huge influx of people, if they are over, that would also kind of mean, wouldn't it, that they are overselling the experience. Now, I don't think that this is going to be a major thing every single day, but like what you're saying, if maybe it's like hey, well, now we're going to be doing it today from like 12 o'clock on, just because we're seeing such an influx of people, that is one thing.
And that's one of the things that's one of the reasons why this park is one of the most technologically advanced ever. Sorry about that. Because they can utilize facial recognition in order to prevent people from actually accessing these portals, or cycle people out, maybe deny them certain experiences. I think the blog making an article talking about this, as you referenced before the show, talked about how Epic was exploring the idea of actually selling these portals individually. And we know that's going to happen in a sense with corporate events and parties and so forth. They're going to be able to utilize any one of these portals for those corporate events. And so there might be a scenario in which a portal, well, I mean, beyond a certain point of the day, may not be able to be accessed at all. So there are methods to implement those kind of systems. We've heard Celestial Park, by the way, might be the kind of impromptu city walk of this section of the resort, in which people can gain access after a certain period of time, 6 or so, but not have access to the attractions or the portals that people have actually paid for, just being in Celestial Park by itself. So I think there are a lot of there are a lot of operational levers that Universal can pull with a park like this. One of those being virtual lines for the portals themselves.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see what they do, how they're going to implement this, and what what the Epic experience is going to be going forward. But what else is interesting, Vash? Our super chats. We have a couple of them right now. Is this live? But $10 Canadian says, I don't understand why they're not using their facial recognition software to run the queue for this ride. Make it come first. Make it first come, first serve. Only one ride per day. The facial recognition software is great, but it is still new. They are still testing it. I believe it is technically still beta, right?
Yeah, I mean, it has been, I guess, worked out to the degree that they can rely on it individually. I think it's augmenting a couple of systems that are in place in order to prevent people from, I don't know, sneaking through the lines and so forth. I know Disneyland just implemented a system like this actually for its entrance turnstiles that they're testing out right now. So yeah, it's developing technology, so there are bound to be issues.
It was this live also for $5 Canadian. Says, being defined areas, I imagine each area has a legal limit to its capacity, which prefers zones be closed for fire code violations. You know what? That is a decent point. It's just, I would feel better if the virtual queue system worked better,
I mean, especially if you have people in their pajamas, getting virtual queues back at home, or those people not even close to the park. Yeah.
One post has ignited this fresh controversy. This comes from Epic Universe Update. This gentleman here, who I assume is a gentleman, says, I was able to get in the 6 p.m. Harry Potter Ministry drop today from home in my pajamas without a valid ticket for the day. I made magic for a friend who was in the park and took it away from all the other people that were in the park. So what? I'm trying to figure out how this guy even got it for his friend. Did he log in as his friend? Or did he just like get it from home, screenshot the thing, and then send it and text it to him? I have no idea. But it's definitely a loophole that needs to be closed. At the end of the day, a virtual queue can be a decent thing if it is done for the right reasons, and this would be the right reason. Disney does not do it for the right reason. Disney does it to take more money from you. If it was done for the right reasons and it was done in a way that works, like a way that actually works and doesn't eliminate people from the equation unfairly, then absolutely, sure, that's fine.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.